Hi, and welcome to this video, and I'm happy to introduce you to Section 4, where we will be doing basic iOS things. This is a basic home startup screen that you should get when you open Xcode. You want to select Create a new Xcode project first. We're going to be building our very first project, and it's going to be called Hello World. It's a basic coding exercise, and it's pretty much the first thing that you're going to create every time you are doing some kind of coding. We're going to select single view app, and that's pretty much what we're going to select for every project, almost every project that we do in iOS, because it gives you more options. You can pretty much do whatever you want, other than like a fixed page-based app or a fixed master detail app or a fixed tabbed app. We're going to be doing a single view app so that we can choose what we want to do. Next, we want to put in a name. I'm going to put in Hello World. And here is where you're going to choose the options for your project. I have an Apple ID, so I've signed it in right here. And this is my username on my computer and my name. And then you want to choose, for the language, you want to choose Swift, because Swift is what we're going to be using to program this. Objective-C is kind of old, I guess, so we're not going to be using Objective-C. And Swift is also easier to code in, so that's why we're using Swift. Now you want to tap Next, and I'm going to save it to the desktop. And I'm going to replace. Just so you can see, I'm going to make it bigger. Zoom. And I'm going to give you a basic tour of Xcode 10 right here. So right here on the left, we have the navigation bar. This is where you can navigate files, source control, and hierarchy of your files, find text, errors and warnings, tests, debugging, breakpoints, and many more. On the center is the main editor where you do all your work, such as coding, doing the UI, etc. On the right, it's called the Utilities pane, where you can see attributes of certain elements inside of the editor. It allows you to change some things like the text and the font of a label, the font size, the color of a button, etc. That's what the right is for. And now we're going to get started by going to main.storyboard. And don't worry, this project requires absolutely no coding. It's just all UI. And if you go to main.storyboard, you see something that looks about the size of an iPhone screen, which is what you're supposed to have. Now, to build this Hello World project, we have to pull up the object library. Now, where's the object library? Now, you might be wondering, well, what does this do? This, when you tap on it, gives you a list and a table of all the objects. You can drag in things like labels. I'm going to drag in a label. And as you can see, it helps me align it with those blue dotted lines when I move it around. Now, if I want to edit the text, I double click on it and I type in the text, Hello World. Now, in the Utilities pane, I can go to the Attributes Inspector menu, and I can change things like the alignment, the number of lines, the font size, and etc. I'm going to make it pretty big, even bigger, until I can't really fit it. Okay, that's about right. And now I can run my app. So I can press, and I'm going to run on an iPhone XR. And what it does is it builds it and then runs it on a simulator on your computer. As you can see, we have run it on an iPhone XR simulator. It doesn't look too great, right? It doesn't fit the screen size. Well, that's because we have to add something called a constraint that allows it to fit every screen. Now, there are a few ways to fix this problem of having it stretch the entire screen. Number one is just change the simulator to an iPhone 8, which works too, saves a lot of hassle, but it's just not an efficient way because you might have a different device. You might have an iPhone 7, you might have an iPhone SE or 5S, or you might have a Plus or an XR. So we're going to add these constraints. First of all, I'm going to make this label slightly smaller, just for our purposes. Adjust the font a little so that it fits perfectly in. I'm going to see the perfect fit is 73. Now I'm going to click on this button and select Reset to Suggested Constraints. Now if I run it again, Let's see the result. So as you can see, our app looks so much better now because we added those constraints and now it looks centered. Anyway, you guys just built your first project in about 5 minutes. Isn't that cool? And we learned how to make it adjust to any phone. Now that's something that you should really be proud of if you haven't done any Xcode coding at all. Anyway guys, we'll be doing some cooler stuff in the next few videos, so I'll see you then. Bye!